Today we're going to be taking a look at the best spare tire mounted bike racks for the Jeep Wrangler. Here we have from Yakima the Spare Ride. Here is the Thule Spare Me. And from Hollywood Racks we have the SR1. Now all of the bike racks we have here have been designed to work with a very wide range of Wrangler Jeeps. Now the biggest fitment issue that you're typically going to have is with really large oversized tires. All of our racks are designed to work with the 33/1250 size. Not too much over that. The HR1 from Hollywood Racks does extend out to 13.5 inches, but typically your tire sizes go from 12.5, then kind of back up to the 15, 15.5, those sizes. Now we can go over some of the similarities and differences in our racks. All the racks that we have here today are designed to work with two bikes, so you and a partner put your bikes on there and hit the road. All of our racks are designed with folding arms. So instead of those arms staying extended out, we're able to tuck them down and out of the way. The Yakima and Thule, those are going to rotate down. With our Hollywood racks, we're going to lift and rotate those over to the side. So not much of a difference there, just slightly different operation. Another difference you're going to see with the Hollywood racks as compared to the Yakima or the Thule is how it's going to mount to the spare tire. This is going to use a bracket that comes around the back side of the spare tire, and we'll have a bolt on each side here that we tighten down. That's going to sandwich that tire, and then with a couple straps that go around the back, we're able to get everything nice and secure. The Thule and Yakima are both going to use a plate system, so there's a plate that you mount in behind the spare tire, and when the rack's removed, you really don't have any issues with just leaving it on there, so you can easily put your rack on and off. Those give you a very steady, secure, and stable mounting point each time. Here on the Yakima, you can get an idea of what we're talking about. You can see how we've got the more silver looking portion here. That's going to stay attached to the vehicle if you choose, so you don't have to worry about taking it on and off. And then with the long bolt through our handle here, it's going to thread right into that and pull that into the tire. That again, going to give us a really nice, stable mounting platform. Security is also another area where we have differences in our racks. With our Yakima, it's going to come with a cable lock that we can draw around both of our bikes and then run it through the nice heavy-duty bracket here. That's going to secure our bikes to the rack. Then we have a key here. It's going to use the same key as the lock on the cable lock that will disengage the knob, just allow it to spin freely. So you could turn it for hours and it's never going to loosen up. Once you turn your key the other way, then it's going to engage and allow you to remove it at home. The Thule's lock is going to be an integrated lock, so it's something that you can't misplace or you can't leave behind. We've got a cable here, a cable here. We pull these out of the rack around our bikes. We'll clip those together, and then it's going to use the same style knob down here. While the knob's a little bit smaller, it's the same principle. So both of the racks that we've just looked at, the Thule and the Yakima, are going to allow us to lock the bikes to the rack, then the rack to the vehicle. Now with the Hollywood racks, it doesn't come with the locks. It doesn't come with those kind of things. So if you decide to go this route and you want to secure everything, you'll have to use a couple of cable locks to kind of go around the bikes and then maybe go around your rack and through the spare tire carrier to help secure that. Now on the Yakima, for the arms and the folding mechanism, we've got a single lever here on top. We'll pull, rotate them up until that clicks down into position. That's all it takes to extend or retract your arms. On the Thule, to fold the arms in, it's a little bit more complicated, but not really that much. Basically, you're going to have a black knob on each side. We want to rotate that all the way out till it stops. There's a lock nut on there to help keep it from coming all the way off. And then you just push and rotate it down and get your cradles out of the way. And then you're just going to tighten those knobs back down. So this does take a little bit more time and a little bit more effort to fold these down than what it would on the Yakima or on the Hollywood racks. For these, you're just simply pushing up and rotating them to the side. Now, even though it doesn't have any locks or any security devices available with it, we do have a strap with a buckle here so we can bring that around our bikes and just kind of keep them secure and keep them from moving back and forth too much. Now we're also going to have a pretty big difference in the cradles and cradle styles on each of the racks. With the Yakima, it uses what's called the zip strip. Just pinch in the 2 tabs. We're able to lift that out at 3 points. We're going to have a frame cradle, and an anti-sway cradle. Now this cradle for anti-sway is designed to hold your bike and keep it from pivoting as you're traveling, as you hit the brakes, as you hit the gas. We don't want our bike swinging around. The zip strips are also very easy to use. Just slide those in and pull them till they become secure around the bike. On the inside of each of the zip strips, you're going to have nice rubber absorbers there. It's going to help take any of that road shock out, just like in the base of the cradles. You can see there's a nice soft rubber material here. It's going to help to reduce that road shock. That can really help out with the carbon bikes and taking some of that fatigue off the frame. The Thule is going to have a very similar system, using 2 frame cradles and an anti-sway cradle. Now the cradles on the Thule aren't quite as supple. There's not kind of a rubber coating there. It's more of a harder rubber, so you're still going to get really good holding power. We're still going to get the anti-sway. And something that this one has that your Yakima cradles won't is going to be the grooves in there. So if we have cables and things like that, that's going to give those an area to rest. So even though this is a little bit harder material, you're not going to have your cables kind of resting under the frame where the Yakima would kind of give a little bit and give them some space. This is going to have grooves in there, so you won't have to worry about damage there. Now the strips on the Thule rack are definitely a little bit more difficult to use than what you're going to get with the Yakima. You have several holes here, so you have all the size adjustment that you get out of the Yakima, but you've got the kind of pegs that stick out, and once you get it around your bike, you'll have to kind of pull down to get those around that tab. Now you can see the Hollywood racks, it's a little bit simpler in design. It's going to have 2 cradles for each bike position. We don't have that anti-sway cradle, although you do have a strap to help, but you're going to be squeezing those bikes together. So if you're worried about frame to frame contact, this probably isn't something you want to get too tight. Now the material that the Hollywood racks cradles are going to be made out of is very similar to the Thule. It's a rubberized material but a little bit stiffer, and you'll notice there aren't really any accommodations for any cables or anything to run down through there. The straps are very similar to the Thule in that they have multiple adjustment points, but again they're going to have that tab, and you're going to have to get those kind of pulled down and around to secure your bike. Now it doesn't take a huge amount of strength, it's just a little bit more difficult than what you see on the Yakima. There's also going to be a slight difference in how the bike racks are held up against the tire. Of course, with the Hollywood racks with the bracket that goes around the back, we're squeezing the top of the tire. We've got a contact point here and here that's going to help with any rotation or anything like that. Now with the Thule, since we have a single connection point here, we're going to have additional rubber pads. We've got 4 of them, one here, 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 and here. And as we tighten that rack, those are going to be pressed into the tire where they get a good hold. And as you can see, nice and secure, no movement or no wiggle. The Thule and the Yakima that we'll show you now seem to be a sturdier rack when installed properly. You can see when you move these, the whole Jeep is going to move. With the Hollywood racks on the bottom, seems to be a little bit of wiggle there no matter how well you have it installed. Not that that's going to cause it to fall off the Jeep or anything like that, just doesn't seem as solid as what the Thule and the Yakima are. And see, the Yakima has the single post, so it's going to have an upper pad here and a lower pad here, again gripping that tire, holding everything nice and solid. Now there's also a difference in our arm width. The Yakima has the narrowest arms. Now it seems when we do test fits on these and when we install them, when we're putting bikes on, the Yakima seems to be the easiest to get them on and off. The Thule's arms are going to be a little bit wider. With that additional width, you're going to need additional space in your frame to help slide the bikes on, and the same can be said for the Hollywood racks. And the same thing we just talked about with the Thule can be said for the Hollywood racks as well. A little bit wider arms, a little bit more space in the frame required to get them on easily. Now, of course, that's a lot of information to absorb all at once, so let's run through a quick summary. When it comes to ease of use, I really like the Yakima. When it comes to security, as far as securing your bikes to the rack and the rack to the vehicle, definitely the Thule and Yakima are way ahead in that game. When it comes to stability or how secure that rack's going to feel on the back of the vehicle, again, Thule and Yakima definitely feel more stable than the SR1. Now, when it comes to looks of the rack on your vehicle, of course, this is a personal preference, but I really like the simple, clean, easy design of the Yakima. That's going to complete our look at the best spare tire mounted bike racks for the Wrangler and Wrangler Unlimited. We hope you find this information helpful in selecting the right one for you.